A few months ago, I made a video about a specific type of mind. I called it the pattern weaver. I talked about that gnawing feeling of having too many interests, the graveyard of abandoned hobbies, and why being a master of none is actually a hidden superpower in the modern world. And the response completely broke my brain. Millions of you watched it. Thousands of you poured your hearts out in the comments. You said things like, "I am 59 years old, and this is the first time I've ever felt understood." You told me that you finally felt seen. You realized you weren't broken. You were just misunderstood. But as I spent days reading through your stories, I noticed a second, hidden struggle emerging. A darker side to this cognitive style. Because validation is a beautiful thing, but after the high of that validation wears off, reality sets in. You wake up the next day, you are still a pattern weaver, but you still have to go to work for a boss who is a deep well specialist. One viewer, at YouTube10010001, pointed out a harsh reality. They wrote, "The people who are in charge of hiring are specialists who often trust other specialists." Another viewer, at the Garden of Rest, confessed to having 500 browser tabs open, paralyzed because they couldn't close them until they finished researching every single topic. Knowing you are a pattern weaver is step one. But how do you actually survive and thrive in a world that is still run by specialists? How do you stop feeling like an imposter? In this video, we are going to talk about the pattern weaver's trap. I'm going to show you how to cure the 500 tab paralysis, how to completely redefine what it means to finish a project, and most importantly, how to translate your chaotic brilliance into a language that specialists will actually reward. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get to work. To understand why you still feel a lingering sense of doubt, we have to talk about imposter syndrome. If you are a pattern weaver, you probably live with a quiet, chronic fear that you are a fraud. You sit in meetings with people who have spent 15 years studying one single software program or one specific branch of law, and you think, "I don't belong here. I don't know enough." But you are feeling like an imposter because you are measuring yourself with a specialist's ruler. Society tells us that expertise is defined by depth of knowledge, by the 10,000-hour rule. But that is only one kind of expertise. A pattern weaver's true expertise is not the data they hold in their head. It is their speed of comprehension and their adaptability. You don't need to know everything about a topic. You just need the ability to learn the new thing faster than anyone else in the room, because you already have a massive web of mental models to attach it to. A viewer named Daisy Ides left a comment that perfectly captures this mindset shift. She wrote, "I have a manifold brain, capable of handling lots of complex thinking. I am not a jack of all trades. I am a queen of all trades." When you stop trying to compete with the specialist on depth and start owning your dominance in speed and synthesis, the imposter syndrome begins to fade. You aren't a fake specialist. You are a highly effective generalist. But even if you conquer the imposter syndrome, you still have to deal with your own brain. And this brings us to the 500 tab paralysis. Many of you are drowning in information. You have a stack of unread books on your nightstand, a camera you bought but haven't mastered, and a browser that looks like a digital hoarder's paradise. You think you are pattern weaving, but you aren't. You are just thread hoarding. There is a massive difference between collecting threads and actually weaving a tapestry. When you have 500 tabs open, your loom is jammed. You are taking in so much raw material that your brain has no space left to actually connect the dots. You are paralyzed by the fear of missing out on a single piece of information. So, how do we fix this? We have to redefine the word completion. We have been brainwashed to believe that a project is only valuable if it is taken to its absolute, final, polished conclusion. If you buy a guitar, you must become a great guitarist. If you start a coding course, you must get the certificate. But for a pattern weaver, this is a trap.
I want you to listen to the wisdom of a viewer named @PanamaFred1. He is 77 years old, and he wrote this: "I know the clock will run out on me before I complete anything. The peace I have found in all of this is that it really doesn't matter if I cross the finish line with any of my projects. Every artist has unfinished projects. For a pattern weaver, a project is complete the exact moment you have extracted the lesson you needed. Maybe you bought that guitar, learned 3 chords, realized how string resonance works, and then put it in the closet. Society calls that quitting. I call it strategic quitting. You didn't fail at the guitar. You successfully extracted a thread about acoustic resonance, and now you are taking that thread to go build better sound dampening panels for your home office. Once you have the thread, you have permission to drop the project. Close the tabs. You don't need to read the whole book. You just needed that one chapter that sparked an idea. Let go of the guilt of the unfinished object and celebrate the acquisition of the new thread."
Now, let's talk about the real world. Let's talk about your job, your clients, and your boss. Because as YouTube 1001001 rightly pointed out, the gatekeepers of the world are usually specialists, and specialists are terrified of chaos. If you walk into a job interview or a pitch meeting and say, "I have 500 tabs open, I jump from passion to passion, and my brain is a non-linear web of ideas," they are not going to hire you. They will see you as a liability. To survive in a specialist world, a pattern weaver must master the art of translation. You have to become a Trojan horse. Inside your mind, the process is chaotic. You solved a marketing problem by remembering a documentary you watched about how ants forage for food, combining it with a color theory class you took 3 years ago. But when you present the solution to your boss, you cannot show them the chaos. You must translate your non-linear web into a straight, logical line. You don't say, "I was thinking about ants and color theory." You say, "I analyzed decentralized distribution models and applied high-conversion visual contrast to our ad campaign." You speak specialist. You give them the clean, organized, step-by-step presentation they crave. You give them the safety of structure. But the innovation inside that structure, that is pure pattern weaver magic. You have to protect your creative process, but polish your output. You are bilingual. You speak the chaotic language of the universe in your own mind, but you speak the orderly language of the specialist in the boardroom. Being a pattern weaver is not a free pass to be disorganized. It is not an excuse to be flaky. It is a profound cognitive responsibility. The world is facing problems that are too complex for any single deep well to solve. The specialists have dug as deep as they can go. They have given us the raw materials. But now, the world is desperately crying out for the integrators, for the bridge builders, for the people who can look across the landscape of human knowledge and say, "Wait a minute, this piece over here connects to this piece over there." You are not an imposter. You are the glue that holds the future together. So look at your graveyard of hobbies one more time.
Look at your messy resume. Look at your 500 open tabs. Take a deep breath. Close 400 of them. Take the threads you've gathered, walk into that room full of specialists, and show them a tapestry they could never have imagined on their own. If this video helped you take the next step in your journey, please hit that subscribe button. The Pattern Weaver community we are building here is incredible, and I want you to be a part of it. In the comments below, I want us to practice translation. Tell me about a time you used a completely random, unrelated piece of knowledge to solve a real-world problem at work or in your life. How did you weave the thread? Thank you so much for watching. Now go build some bridges.